Hi, my name is Alison Stevens, and I'm the coordinator of the Advanced Ergonomics Studies program at Fanshawe College. It's a graduate level program, and we had the pleasure of using Riipen, and I'd like to share with you a few of the examples, case studies on how Riipen really helped us. So many of you have probably heard of the field of ergonomics, and we often think of it in the sense of office setup. So I hope you're all sitting straight today. But where my graduates find employment is usually in the manufacturing world. So the idea of looking at jobs, evaluating jobs, and then making recommendations that reduce the chance and the risk of injuries. So a really exciting and up and coming field. The key, though, is that we usually place everybody in a manufacturing facilities or facilities that require in-person so that we can do the assessments, collect and measure. So you can imagine that when the pandemic hit, it was a bit of a stress as we were just about to go into field placement. So, following in industry's footsteps, what was the industry doing in the field of ergonomics? They were moving to a remote model. Most have ended up nowadays into a blended model, meaning that we're doing a data collection on site and then doing our analysis and video evaluations remotely. But at that moment, nobody knew what we were going to do, and we had just received a presentation about the Riipen platform. So, utilizing that, we switched that we would like to do placements remotely, virtually. Posted on Riipen, as many of you now understand, what the students were capable of and what we were looking for. And I was looking for an 8-week, 300-hour placement for the students. So I did contact many of my original field placement companies, and they then were able to join into Riipen. Many have stayed because it's such a great platform. But the idea here was you post the jobs and the capabilities of your students and what you're looking for, and then you get the companies that will then post to say, hey, how about a project like this? So that was the start. And one of the companies that ended up putting a posting was Animal Care Systems. Now, I'm located and my students are predominantly located in London, Ontario. And we had Centennial, Colorado Animal Care Systems. This is a company that makes animal cages, actually, of all different sites. Their predominant focus is on for laboratory cages. So it is a small manufacturing facility. I have to say, I was a bit hesitant of whether or not we could pull this off, but sure enough, 2 of my students were very game, and we connected them with Animal Care Systems. So they're going to do ergonomic assessments remotely from Ontario to Colorado. And here's what happened. It was a great mix of a health and safety person at the location in Colorado. They were instructed to take video of some of the high potential injury causing or high risk jobs. Most facilities are pretty aware of which jobs everybody doesn't like. So they narrowed it down to 3. And then by using videos, by using FaceTimes where my students could actually talk with the workers, they were able to then do an assessment. So this is a risk priority score of 34. So it's a high risk job of drilling. This is kind of one of the frames from what I understand. And as you can see here, there's a RULA score of 5. My other one that I thought was really great is I've drilled into the students, you need to collect more than one piece of data. So this is actually force data, how much effort it is to push on that drill to be able to, to make the connections. So they actually coached the health and safety representative through the measurement of collecting forces. They were very creative. They had a bathroom scale at the underneath, and then they drilled on top so they could actually measure the forces that were down. They made the health and safety rep take numerous samples so that we could make sure that it was a valid measurement and that we didn't have an unacceptable variability. All the wonderful things that they were supposed to be learning through the program and then into the field placement. So they did an excellent job then of analyzing the drilling. Oops, that went craziness. Sorry, guys. You got the answers there. Okay, so from the drilling, they analyzed it and they made some recommendations. So again, almost the same, but with more challenges as if they were there. They actually made a recommendation of raising that location. They changed the tool so it would be more of an inline tool, stopping the wrist being bent, and then did their return on investment, cost evaluations of what injuries would cost, and established a great rapport with the health and safety team. They met regularly with them, asked them for data that they need, gave feedback first when they needed to talk to the operator. Again, brought down phones and had FaceTime videos. So a really good success. They ended up analyzing about 3 or 4 jobs, making some recommendations, and the company, Animal Care Systems, was really thrilled with the evaluation and the connection that was able to be made remotely. So we have Riipen to thank us for making that connection. We are still in contact with them. I follow up with them to see how they've done on some of their implementations. Implementation is always slow, but they're doing great. And we have an extended invite if we ever find ourselves in Colorado. So I was so excited with the success of that Riipen example that I ended up bringing it in as a group project in our ergonomic research course in the fall. Again, sending out the invite to establish relationships that I have, but Riipen also has a vast majority of companies. So we wanted to do research. We focused it to say we'd really like it to be survey research, again, allowing us then to work with companies that were remote. So we had Mega Comfort and Cargill Protein join us. And what the students did was Mega Comfort supplied insoles into the Cargill Protein plant in South Carolina. So that was already occurring in the company. And what they wanted the ergonomic students to do was run the discomfort survey, run the usability surveys, and then analyze the data, which aligned perfectly with our posting. So we ended up, as you can see here, the results were really exciting and showed that the amount of fatigue, the comfort was all improved through the use of these Mega Comfort insoles. The company, Mega Comfort, was so impressed with the high quality of research and the way that the ergonomic students conducted themselves that they contacted me afterwards and asked me to post for a job. So actually they ended up hiring 2 of our graduates. They decided that ergonomists were probably better in the role of sales and research than hiring from a business background. And so I'm excited to see this transition. And 2 ergonomists are now working for Mega Comfort, running their research on new technology, running similar studies throughout plants in Canada and the United States. What a great story. What a great connection. And, you know, it just really shows you can do amazing things if you can define what you're looking for, and companies are looking for this kind of talent. So it's a great way of connecting and bringing real life examples into the classroom. Then my third one, as I get closer to my 10 minutes, maybe they'll let me have a few more minutes here, is a product evaluation. So after the research class, we went into one of our winter courses, and I do a product evaluation. So again, we put up on Riipen that we were looking for products to evaluate from an ergonomic standpoint. And Wood Ox, or Log Ox, posted that they would love us to do an ergonomic evaluation of the Wood Ox wood carrier. So right here in the green, it has an arm sling versus a traditional carry at the side to move firewood. So we took that on as a group project then within the classroom. And the students set up their research such that within the lab, we could evaluate A, which is a wood ox, B, which is a traditional carrier, or C, no carrier at all. And from an ergonomic perspective, this meant that we were evaluating the stress on the shoulders and the stress on the back in carrying and picking up those loads. So the students, again, were able to coordinate the research project. They met at the beginning to define the parameters, and Wood Ox was awesome. They FedExed us both the carriers for us to use. In the lab, we set up, the postures, and then the students evaluated the postures using biomechanical modeling to evaluate the stress or the reduction of stress with the Wood Ox. So it was great. It was lovely to see the students interact with the product manufacturer, and they were able to give him some design parameters. For example, the strap. Remember, people would probably have a large coat on because they're going outside to get the wood, and the strap actually probably did need to be longer in order to fit a 95th percentile male. So students were able to make some recommendation about the strap that goes over the shoulder. The other thing they were able to do is able to compare the Wood Ox string then on low back compression and in carrying and in lifting, and basically talking with Austin, put it in terms of a marketing pamphlet. So all the data that was received from our product evaluation ended up in one of their product marketing evaluations. And in terms of like that 37% average reduction in your low back compression and things like that. So it was a really good marketing as well as a ergonomic product evaluation experience. And then I'm pleased to tell you that although travel is restricted, the product evaluation was accepted at a conference, and so the students will be presenting virtually at an upcoming Applied Ergonomics Conference in March. So I've had such a great experience with companies and that connection that was made through Riipen. So I encourage you to check it out. Let your thoughts go, because there are a lot of companies out there that would love to connect with our very talented pool of students. All right, good luck.